General Hospital spoilers. The real reason BLQ abandoned Geo. Cody's shocking link to that fateful night revealed. Port Charles is a town where secrets rarely stay buried, and the past has a nasty habit of clawing its way into the present. Brooklyn Quartermain, BLQ, has always been a complicated woman, fiercely loyal, emotionally volatile, and capable of sacrificing everything for those she loves. But in recent months, one question has haunted General Hospital fans. Why did Brooklyn walk away from Geo? Now, shocking new developments promise to shake the foundations of the Quartermain family and unravel a tangled web of betrayal, guilt, and trauma. At the heart of it all is a name no one expected, Cody Bell. Let's dive deep into the mystery behind Brooklyn's heartbreaking decision and how Cody's hidden past is the ticking time bomb that may detonate everything. When Geo arrived in Port Charles, fans were immediately drawn to his charm, resilience, and enigmatic connection to the Quartermain clan. There were whispers of family ties, emotional baggage, and a mysterious departure. The biggest mystery of all? Brooklyn's cold dismissal of a young man she once swore to protect. At first, it seemed like self-preservation. Brooklyn, newly married to Harrison Chase and deeply immersed in her music business revival, appeared too overwhelmed to deal with Joe's sudden reappearance. She claimed Geo reminded her of painful memories, that he belonged somewhere else, and that she was doing what's best for him. But those generic lines rang hollow. Even Chase noticed the tension and pressed her for answers, only to be met with tears and silence. Now we know, Brooklyn wasn't just afraid. She was hiding something Cody Bell knew all too well. Years ago, before Geo ever stepped foot in Port Charles, there was a night that altered the course of Brooklyn's life, a night involving her cousin Leo, an abandoned music festival, and a reckless decision that would haunt her forever. Brooklyn had just lost her voice, her confidence in tatters after Nellie's attack and Valentine's betrayal. She was spiraling. On a whim, she drove to a remote part of upstate New York for a weekend music retreat, hoping to rediscover herself. There, she met a mysterious drifter with a dazzling smile and haunted eyes, Cody Bell. Cody was using a different name then.
Cal, he said.
A man trying to forget his past and find peace through horses and high notes. He and Brooklyn bonded over shared wounds, and for one night, they were inseparable. But the night didn't end in peace. What fans don't know, and what Brooklyn buried deep, is that the retreat ended in tragedy. A barn caught fire. People were injured. Amid the chaos, Brooklyn discovered a baby crying inside a hidden makeshift nursery attached to the venue. Cody was already inside, trying to rescue people trapped in the flames. Brooklyn ran inside after him, and together, they saved the baby. But the aftermath brought even more chaos. Authorities arrived, and Brooklyn was told to give up the baby to state custody.
She refused.
Something in her broke that night, a primal need to protect.
Cody, meanwhile, vanished.
He disappeared into the woods before anyone could question him, haunted by his own past, terrified of being tied to the incident. Brooklyn took the baby, Geo, and delivered him to a friend of Lois's in Bensonhurst. She paid for his care, visited secretly, and vowed to one day bring him home. But as the years passed, Brooklyn's guilt grew. She blamed herself for the fire. She blamed Cody for running. And when Geo finally showed up in Port Charles, full of questions and fury, she shut down. The pain was too much. When Cody returned to Port Charles under his real name, BLQ recognized him immediately, though he didn't seem to recognize her. Or perhaps he was pretending. Their reunion at the Quartermain stables was tense, filled with awkward pauses and sidelong glances. Cody avoided eye contact. BLQ left in a rush. But now, Sasha has picked up on the tension, and Maxie's suspicious too. Sasha cornered Brooklyn at the Metro Court and asked, point blank, "What happened between you and Cody?" Brooklyn nearly crumbled. "That's not your story to tell," she said softly. But the truth is clawing its way out. Cody's sudden nightmares, Brooklyn's frequent tears, and Joe's growing resentment are pushing the truth into the light. Here's where things get even murkier, and even more explosive. New spoilers reveal that Gio may not have been a random baby abandoned at the retreat. A confidential report that Stella uncovers suggests Gio was the child of someone connected to Cody's past. Cody once worked on a ranch owned by a wealthy businessman with mob ties. The baby could be the result of an affair, an abandoned love child hidden away for safety. When Cody fled that life, he may have unknowingly crossed paths with his own kin and left the baby behind. Could Gio actually be Cody's son? Brooklyn suspects.
She has for a while.
But she hasn't told Cody.
Why?
Because the truth could destroy them both. Brooklyn's world begins to spiral out of control during an intense confrontation with Gio at GH. Gio, desperate for answers, demands to know why she never came back for him. Why she lied about who he was. Why she let him believe he was nothing. Brooklyn breaks. You think I didn't want you? I almost died to protect you. But you remind me of that night. Of the smoke, the screams, the fire, and of him. Of the man who ran away when I needed him most. Chase walks in at that moment, catching the last line. Who are you talking about? Brooklyn can't lie anymore. She finally tells Chase everything. About Cody, the fire, the baby,
The fear.
Her breakdown is devastating. Chase is stunned. He realizes the woman he married is carrying a weight no one should bear alone. And worse, she's been doing it while hiding the truth from both Gio and Cody. Meanwhile, Dante pressures Cody to take a DNA test after hearing pieces of Brooklyn's story from Chase. Cody initially resists, but Dante, his best friend, won't let it go. If there's even a chance that kid's your son, you owe it to him. You owe it to yourself. The DNA results are conclusive. Cody is Joe's biological father. He is stunned.
Wrecked.
Years of running, regret, and self-loathing come crashing down. Suddenly, everything makes sense. Why Brooklyn was so angry, so cold. Why Gio always seemed oddly familiar. Now, Cody wants to do the right thing. But it may be too late. When Gio learns the truth, he doesn't celebrate. He explodes. You left me. Both of you. You let me rot in a stranger's house while you built your lives. I don't want your pity. I don't want your apologies. I want nothing to do with either of you. His words cut deep, especially for Cody, who now wants to be a part of his son's life. Brooklyn begs Gio to understand, but his pain is too fresh. What's worse? Gio begins bonding with Valentine, who takes advantage of the chaos to offer Gio a role in BLQ, hoping to mold the young man as a quartermain asset against Michael and Ned. Tracy is livid when she finds out Brooklyn kept the secret from the family. Monica is heartbroken, seeing echoes of Alan's old choices in Brooklyn's. Ned tries to act as mediator, but even he is shaken. The family fractures again, just as they were starting to rebuild after the recent BLQ legal war. And now, with Gio refusing to call himself a quartermain, the future of the next generation is uncertain. Brooklyn and Cody find themselves drawn back together, not romantically, not yet, but emotionally, bonded by the child they saved and lost and now desperately want to know. But there are roadblocks. Sasha, still grieving Liam and struggling with her own trauma, finds herself drawn to Cody's vulnerability and may not step aside so easily. Meanwhile, Chase is reeling. He loves Brooklyn, but can he live in the shadow of a past so complex? Can he co-parent with a man she once shared a tragic night with? The story builds toward an emotional crescendo as Gio is offered three paths: embrace the quartermain name and legacy, align with Valentine for power, or forge his own identity as a Belle. In a cliffhanger finale coming this summer, Gio takes the stage at the nurses' ball, not as a performer, but as a speaker. He delivers a searing monologue about what it means to be abandoned, to survive, and to finally choose your own name. I'm not a quartermain. I'm not a Belle. I'm not your mistake. I'm me, and I decide who I become. The crowd erupts in silence. Brooklyn sobs in the wings. Cody lowers his head in shame, and Valentine watches with a knowing smile. The past may have dictated the journey, but Gio is ready to claim the future, and Port Charles better be ready. The revelation of Cody's connection to Gio and the painful reason Brooklyn walked away marks a turning point in General Hospital. What began as a mystery surrounding an abandoned young man has evolved into a multi-generational reckoning. BLQ's sacrifice, Cody's shame, Joe's anger. Together, they form the latest chapter in a town that never forgets and never forgives easily. But one thing is certain. The truth is no longer hiding in the smoke of that fateful night. It's burning brighter than ever.
Stay tuned.